So why don't we take a quick break from football? We're on the eve of hockey starting.
This is fun.
Obviously, yeah. So a way different hockey year than anything we've ever experienced. Now, I'm going to ask you guys what you're excited about for the season. We don't necessarily have to go into predictions because who knows what's going to happen. They're playing 56 games. The playoffs are going to run into the summer again, which I think is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the number one thing that I'm looking forward to is, not only do we have like all these great teams in the U.S., but all the Canadian teams are pretty much good, and they're all going to slug it out all year.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of like this in the standings, like the whole time. It's just going to be a whole lot of movement.
And I don't like any of the Canadian teams. Like personally, I'm not like a Canadiens Leafs fan. Like I hate all
we
that
get to
stuff,
be bitter rivals again, you and I, right? Just keeps going. Penguins and Devils, baby.
Yeah, hey, keep rolling. Hopefully you don't got Scott Stevens this year. But yeah, Chad, I know you're not like a huge hockey guy, but I wanted to give you the lead because I know that you got some stuff that you want to talk about with this coming hockey season.
So the one thing you did touch on is like all the conference. Are they call them conferences or divisions?
Divisions.
Just divisions. It's cool how they're separated by regions. So that's the one nice thing. Makes it easier. But it's gonna rebuild some of those rivalries. And like what we were talking, me and Shane were talking about before, is that every time a team plays, it's like a 2-game series.
Yeah.
So literally, like you're gonna rebuild those rivalries real quick. I know, like for like up here in Canada, like you have the Leafs in Ottawa, you have the Canadians and the Leafs. Like those Calgary Edmonton games are gonna be bangers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if Kachuk goes and runs somebody, you have to see them tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
and like you said, like you brought the Flyers and the Penguins, like that's gonna be huge. Like I still remember the Rangers and the Devils back in the day, like seeing that all over again. Like that's the stuff I'm looking forward to. It might bring back some of that old time hockey from when we were kids growing up. I know the game's not the same anymore, but when you got to see somebody like 2 times in a row, those things flame up real quick.
Right. Yeah, and just wait until like it gets a little bit closer to playoff time because they're not just like breaking it down by conference. It's the top 4 teams from each division are moving on. They have 4 divisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I mean, I think it's gonna be crazy down the stretch. But yeah, Kalen, go ahead.
Well, normally I'm incredibly optimistic when it comes to my team. Overly optimistic, some would say. But
That doesn't sound like you at all.
But the Devils are going to get absolutely slaughtered this year in that Eastern Division.
Oh, shit.
Listen, the Penguins are going to be good, but like they're going to have a rough time in that division too. There's a lot of action. What I
The
will be
Penguins aren't
looking,
that good this year.
they're always going to be good with somebody like Sidney
They're
Crosby on the ice.
They're average.
They're enough to get the playoffs. What I am looking forward to is the Rocket Richard chase, because I think that Ovi hasn't had a whole lot of people on nipping at his heels for a while. But and all my friends are going to give me a hard time for saying this, but I think Austin Matthews is the bet to win that one this year, and I think he's gonna light the lamp a lot, and I think he's gonna take away by a few, like 10 goals minimum.
You don't like McKinnon over there in Colorado, eh?
I love Nathan McKinnon. I think he's one of the best 2-way players that you could possibly watch. And being in the Western Conference and on a team like Colorado, you couldn't ask for anything better. The only other team I could see him being, better suited for would be a team like Nashville, the way they play hockey there. But Nathan McKinnon's awesome. Connor McDavid, great player, obviously. But I think the plan in Toronto is to get that kid 65, 70 goals this year. It can happen. It can happen.
In 56 games, that would be nuts.
That's what I'm saying. It can happen. I don't know. There's something about this season. It's going to be wonky. I don't know if people are going to have enough time to catch their feet. The goalies are going to be overworked, I feel, especially in the Canadian divisions. There's not a lot of depth there. So I think that if you're playing against backup goalies a lot, you're going to have a chance to score.
Well, I mean, the best goalie room probably is in Ottawa now, right? They got Matt Murray there now. So.
Matt Murray, and who's the other guy there?
I don't know if it matters.
We unfortunately lost Corey Crawford to retirement, but so we're going with Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood. So
can we talk about how Ottawa asked for 6,000 fans of their home games though?
Interesting.
Amazing.
Pretty
it's like the
capital city would pull that.
I know we don't talk about the 1-9 on this show, but come on now, guys.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we just announced
have a lot of things going on up here.
Yeah, that's right. We're getting locked down again, and suddenly they want to have 6,000 fans there because they don't want to go out of business.
So the Canadian government was on doing their press conference on new modeling on what's going to happen if people don't follow the restrictions. As Buddy tweets this out, like this was a tweet. This wasn't like
Oh my god!
Incredibly tone deaf. And I mean, yeah, I mean, if the Ontario government said it was okay, I mean, they're not going to, but if they said it was okay, I mean, if people wanted to go there, I'm not going to judge somebody for going there because I don't care what people do with their lives.
Mhm.
But I mean, when it comes down to it, like, come on, man, like, read the room.
Yeah.
Well,
I do have a question. Does this year count as a full year on the player's contract too?
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder how the trade deadline will play out as a result of that. Then what'll happen if you?
It's a little bit later this year. I think it's not even until like April or something. So.
Oh, wow.
Like 40 games probably.
Maybe they'll do a baseball trade
so.
deadline and then a waiver wire deadline too.